All right, Interstellar. What makes it my personal favorite movie of all time and beloved by so many, but also what might be some of the issues with it? All right, so a lot of people know Christopher Nolan to be one of the best filmmakers of all time. He's my personal favorite of all time. But I think some people might have issues with some of his movies, especially like Tenet and Memento, because it might be a little bit too confusing, right? There might be too much to think about. You have to do repeat viewings to actually understand it. Let's get into why it's so beloved, why his movies are so beloved, and specifically Interstellar, just because that's my favorite movie, and that's actually what I named the channel after, Real Stellar. So the thing is about Interstellar and all Christopher Nolan movies is that they are complicated, but they're there to tell very human stories, especially Interstellar. I love that the biggest scope he's ever had in a film, which is, space, nothing gets bigger than that. They travel to another galaxy, is told to talk about the most human emotion, which is love. But the way he does it is, in my opinion, perfect. The way he emphasizes the relationship between Matthew McConaughey and his daughter, Cooper and Murph, and how important that is to him. And that's really what drives him the whole movie, right? He wants to save his family. He obviously wants to save Earth as well, but what's driving him is his family and that survival instinct that they talk about later in the film. Some of the things that Christopher Nolan does that make his films confusing are also what make them kind of great, which specifically is how he deals with time. So take, for example, Oppenheimer. It does this a lot. It jumps from timeline to timeline, like this is the future, this is the past. You kind of have to piece that together as you go. But everything in the story adds to itself, and that's what makes it so good. It adds to the depth and the scope and the understanding of what's happening in the past, and same vice versa. This cutting doesn't really happen in Interstellar, but it does warp time a lot. And sometimes it might be difficult to understand, the physics of it, the intricacies, but his dealing with time and his stretching time is what raises the stakes so much and what makes us care so much about the characters. Something I love that Christopher Nolan does, especially in Interstellar, is he has such a big scope, right? There are so many shots. I just recently saw it in theaters for the first time, and there's so many shots that are just huge, and you feel tiny, right? There's a shot of Saturn, and you see the ship, and it's literally just a tiny dot floating across. And I think that's so cool because, everything kind of does seem insignificant when you look at it like that. But then the film is there to show you that, no, our relationships and our love actually is very significant. I also do love the science of it. I think that it's really cool to just talk about black holes and wormholes and space and bending time, and that they go onto a planet and suddenly it's 7 years per hour. And it's like, okay, we gotta get in and out, and then something goes wrong and they're stuck there and they lose 23 years of Earth life. It really makes you feel like, wow, why don't we cherish the time we have more often? It's like, obviously I'm not going to go to space and get my time diluted or stretched or changed, but it does make you think, maybe I need to value what I have right now more, because you never know when it's going to change, right? Tragedy does happen. Like, it's just cool to look at. When I first watched this movie, it was honestly just awesome. I just thought the space was cool, the science of it was really cool, but as I get older and the more I think about the movie, the more I realize, all that's so fun because you still feel something on top of it because there's a human story. Lastly, I'll just talk about that scene I was just mentioning in the black hole. So I think that part's really cool because Christopher Nolan does this in a lot of his films, right? I mean, this is just a technique of filmmaking, but he just seems to do it really well. That there's always like this sort of aha moment where everything that's kind of been confusing, you're kind of like trying to puzzle everything, piece it all together, finally makes sense. And there's that aha moment when he's in the black hole and Murph sees the clock and she recognizes, oh my gosh, my dad's my ghost, and he's been trying to send a message about how to save Earth. And Cooper realizes that as well. He's like, I sent myself here. I've been trying this whole time. I've been regretting this whole time coming out to space, but it's because I'm saving humanity, because someone else is doing this for me. Someone else sent me here so that I could send Earth the information they need to save themselves. I think that part is awesome, and it solidifies that connection between him and Murph, because Murph, the whole movie, you can feel it. She loathes her father and loves him so much at the same time. She despises him for leaving, but she cares so much about him, and she just hopes and prays that he didn't just abandon her, and that he is actually doing something worthwhile. And she finally gets that moment like, oh my gosh, he did all of this because he cared about me, and it was him the whole time. And that is such a powerful, impactful moment, because she's just been so distant the whole movie from him. Obviously physically, but also, emotionally. And to finally connect them like that, and then when they reunite at the end, it's just super special. I love this movie so much. I think it's incredible, and I think people need to give it more of a chance if they don't, understand it, or they think it's too complicated or just too much. I just think it's a great movie. I'm very happy I got to see it in theaters. It was amazing. I love Christopher Nolan. And I just wanted to talk about why I named the channel this and how much this movie means to me. It really has changed my life and my perspective on a lot of things. But if you liked what you heard here, please subscribe, like, comment, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Peace.